1957, and it's a number 30 full-type combine from 1957 in original condition, 25 bushel hopper. I believe this should be Cecil himself. And he's got the 1961 Cub original. Driver today is Bruce March. Brindley corn planter behind it. Brindley was an accessory maker that fit the Cub Cadet and the others. Laverne Beckel owns this, but the driver today, Nick Ludwig, in 1977 1000. A Brindley fertilizer spreader, this 1000, and also the 800. There's a hard tractor to find in one piece. Lynn Beckel, she's the owner and driver of the 1976 Spears at 76. Not too many of those are left. But when you got them all nicely polished up for the trade, they look real nice. And then everybody else says, gee, I want one. Where are you going to find them? In the want ads, when somebody's got one for sale, and you'll have to pay a whole lot more for it than you would originally. This is from Cecil Beckel's collection today, Mariel Ludwig doing a driving Spirit of 76. From Cecil's collection today, Scott, the driver, a 1977 1450 with a Johnson front end loader. Again, many pieces of attachment equipment for these tractors and others. Gary Grahams is driving the 582 from 1980 with a Brindley single bottom plow. Towards the end, I styled these tractors to look like they're big field tractors. That's why they have the shape. From Cecil's track collection, 2 Barts is driving 1986 1872. By now it's built by Cub Cadet Corporation, but it's the modern equivalent of the old 982. Dwayne is driving Cecil's 682 from 1980. Towards the end, I sold the production. So some of these red tractors were built by IH, and they have the tiny little tag on them. But when Cub Cadet built the tractor, they have the big tag. So this is Cecil with his 782 diesel 1981. I think that was Cub Cadet Corporation building that. IH never offered that engine. It's a 3-cylinder Kubota diesel. Rick Druckmann, his 882 from 1984, 3-point hitch, and again, the diesel engine. The Bush family always has a couple of their Cub Cadets, a 126. That's a 12-horse, 3-speed tractor. Got the little arc chain, and it's got the auxiliary hydraulic. This one, he's got a home build. He's a 147. That's a 14-horse hydrostatic. He built the one-arm loader and grapple himself, so he goes through several grades. This is probably Gordy Lefebvre. Kim Brown, 1947-30. He's from St. Francis, so a couple years ago the Top Cut collectors are there. And what do you mean the guy's name isn't Lefebvre? Why is the B and the R in there if you don't say it? So, but Kim Brown has been through the parade a lot of times. Got his Top Cut nicely polished up, built up in Brantford, Ontario after 1946 up until about the mid-50s. Sue Brown, her 1950 220. She's from St. Francis. Some of these Scotch Guts are getting harder to find, but they got them polished up and through the parade, they look real nice. Another Super H with a big breathing cone type on it, with 164 cubic inch 4-cylinder engine. And this is Brad Sharpa in between year transition. The first Super H has had the hydraulics under the gas tank, and then when they did some changing, it had the battery under the gas tank, and when they put the hydraulics under the gas tank, the battery had to go under the seat. Tractor that's owned by Eric Arnott, a 70s diesel high-speed standard. We don't see too many those tractors around, but a standard tractor did everything except cultivate. 1850 Oliver, 1966 Gary Kimmich from Hastings. Should have the 354. 1850s were certified to have 92 horsepower. Tom Kimmich, his Super M, 1953. They made the engine a little bit bigger and they tweaked the gears, at least gears 2, 3, and 4, so there was a little better field speed with those. Gary Bader has a Cub from 1948. International built these Cubs in an old Curtiss aircraft factory they bought starting in 1947. They built the Cub Farmall until 1979, so it had a 32-year run. A Farmalls came out in 1939, little brother to the H and the M, and then they superized the A in 1947, and they're still a handy tractor if you're cultivating vegetables or flowers. The cultivation was a good idea. Nice Ford, 1951 panel truck, Mike Castle from Durand. I don't think they sold it new with those wheels on it, so. What happens with panel trucks of any make, they rust out so bad that there's nothing left of them. So if you're going to make a street rod, you're doing the metal work anyway, so might as well put it together and give it new life. Here's Eric himself on his 2010 high crop with a John Deere 25A factory-built sprayer, so if you got any weeds or bugs you want killed, just douse them with some of that stuff and it'll take care of them. So now here's a new generation. Look at that nice patina on there, complete with an original dealer sticker on there. Like a nice original 4010 Depot. You'll read that dealer sticker. Early Titan 1020, they were built between 1916 and 1922. They have a 2-cylinder engine, and both of the crank throws are on the same throw, but one fires and then it goes around and the other one fires. And they figured at that time it would be smooth running, and I guess it did. Quite a few of those Titans were recycled, at least the earliest one for World War II, so they're getting harder to find. Minneapolis only R, the little brother to the U and the Z. See, they didn't do much for fenders, they just have kind of a guard. Brian Rohrenbach, his R is from 1947, and the plow is a 514 John Deere Model 66H. He can pull it through the parade, but he wouldn't be able to drop it down in the field. I see the people mover coming. Is that it? Any prairie tractors that have to sneak across the lawn and come through? It is Friday, so maybe they don't feel like running them today. Is the old Dodge part of it? If he's bringing up the rear. Again, this is Friday, and it's been a whole year since they had a parade, so give them some leeway in remembering exactly what they need to do. But anyway, the old Dodge Power Wagon, it's got its fans who try to use them, or if at least, if anything, it'll make its way through the parade. Jim Page from Hinckley in 1948, 4x4 Farm and Ranch. second year offer to civilians. It's got a 230 cubic inch flathead and a very low 4-speed. All right, we want to thank everybody. Please stay in your seats. The big prairie tractors are a little bit late for coming, but there is still more parade. Again, give us time. Some of those tractors, you know how it is. They go slow and slower. So to get over here and the way the grounds were remodeled, they had to take out the driveway over here south of the building, but they're going to sneak across and come through here, at least a handful. So please keep your seats and try your best to stay out of the parade route, and we'll talk about some of these when they get here. Give us a couple extra minutes. As we can see, they're making the effort of getting them started and getting them moved, so I'm not sure how many will go through, but here again, please keep your seats. And if you don't want to sit to watch them, do your best to watch out for them and stay out of their way. Thank you. All right, we got just a few prairie tractors here, and at one time, very early before World War I think John Deere did their hand at marketing the Big 4 tractor in some of their sales areas. So the Big 4 started out as the gas traction company, and then they were purchased by Emerson Branningham, and that's what it says on the front. Built up in the cities, big 4-cylinder engine. Lots of time and effort to get a tractor like this up and running again. Alan Stevenson is a machinist, and a few years ago he was helping 11 other people with machining tolerances to get their Big 4 tractors running. So he's behind the steering wheel helping to navigate that tractor through the parade route. 1912 Mogul 45 in original condition, or if it was repainted once, well, it all fell off. 1912 was the last year as the 45, and then it was upgraded to the Model 60, but you don't see too many of them around. But the Mogul was a smooth runner because it had a piston going ahead and back and a flywheel in the middle, and they said that balanced it very well. You can see it sits there chugging away. Instead of having a radiator, these early tractors had what was called a screen cooler. And sometimes that screen cooler had to be covered because the wind and the breeze would blow the water away and deplete the cooling system. There it is. All the way from 1912 to 110 years old. Cornelius Altman and Henry Hobart Taylor are the gentlemen this is named after. Their thrashers did such a good job. There wasn't any grain for the chicken to pick, so the Star Rooster was their trademark. Altman and Taylor was purchased by Rumley, I believe, in the 1920s. So there's a few of them left. And they're big radiators, a big round drum with a bunch of tubes through it. The water is running outside of those tubes, and the air goes through the tubes and mostly cools it. It's not a steamer or anything like that. It's a big gas tractor, 4-cylinder horizontal engine. The first one, I think, is about a 2240, and this second one is a 3060. And the first number is usually the horsepower for the drawbar, and the second number is the horsepower for the bell. is the man behind the steering wheel. Hartmar, the originators of the tractor business, and one of their salesmen coined the word tractor. Before they called them tractors, they called them gasoline traction engines. So when their salesman coined the word tractor, the rest is history. One more coming through here. It looks like it's the big. This is the big Fairbanks Morse. Has just one cylinder, but that's a big cylinder. Model 1525, there's over 1,500 cubic inches in that single cylinder, so tough, it just chugs along. And it too, over 100 years old. I believe this tractor from 1911, so 112 years old, 111 years old, all one. And again, that's a screen cooler on the front. The water goes up and runs down the screen, and hopefully it's cooler by the time it goes back into the engine. That was their thinking at the time, until somebody perfected the fin and tube radiator. Now it's here and it's running, so thanks to all of our big tractor operators for getting them going, getting them through the parade. About the 1920s or so, a company named Chaps and a company named Holt got together and they decided to combine their efforts, call it a Caterpillar. Caterpillar 60. The early Caterpillars were the gray color with the red accents, and then later they were yellow. Sometimes that gray color was hard to see, so if the tractor got changed to a yellow color, it was more visible for safety or any other purpose. Got the big Caterpillar gas. You can see the big brass carburetor and the magneto. The open flywheel, you crank those tractors by sticking a bar in the flywheel, and you just hope that it wouldn't kick when it started, or else it would send your starting bar flying to a destination unknown. They build the oil pools, and they did build their share of traction engines. This is after Rumley had purchased the Advanced Pressure Company, and then on their steam traction engines had the label Advanced Rumley, so it was a combination of the two companies. 3 whistles on that. Big job in the summertime, a hot job to be stoking the fire on the traction engine. Vern Johnson, his D is 1931. Got it all nicely polished up. Still has the old-time metal steering wheel on it. But previous to that, they had the small cast iron steering wheel, and then when they put the third speed in, they put the rubber steering wheel on the tractor. Also, Vern Johnson's tractor, driven by Paul. This is a B from 1936. The first Bs were a short frame, and then they stretched the frame out, and then you could use the same equipment on the A and the B together. So Bruce, is that it? That's it for Friday's parade. Thank you for attending. The rest of the day is yours. See all the sights and sounds and displays and demonstrations and interpretations if they're doing anything today. Also, we tried to mention here, you see the big flagpole. It's another one of Steve's salvage projects. It's out here to the west. A 30 by 60 flag is on that thing. He said it's been thrown away and cut up, and so he grabbed it, pieced it back together, got it set up tomorrow and Sunday mornings at 9:30. they're going to do a short dedication ceremony for that flagpole. So if you'd like to be here and see that, they had to try to get it in the best time they could. But 9:30 tomorrow and Sunday morning, a little dedication ceremony for the new giant flag and flagpole that's all here on the west side of the ground. So again, the rest of the day is yours. Thanks for coming out. Have a good time and enjoy yourself.